In this video, I'm going to go over 6 shin splint stretches and exercises that you can do if you've been cleared by your doctor to do so. I'm Dr. Sebastian Gonzalez with Performance Place Sports Care. Feel on your leg right here, there is a bony area on the inside part, and on the outer part there's actually a fleshy area or a spongy one. This is actually where the muscles are, the tibialis anterior and a couple of the other muscle groups which bend the toes up and down, and actually bends the ankle as well. So if you have an irritation right along the bone, there's a possibility this is a stress fracture. So it's really important to differentiate that now, because if it is that, then you should probably be resting and these things won't help anyways. So make sure to get cleared with your doctor. So the first thing I like to do is active range of motion of the ankle. And this can be done just in the position I am right now. Okay, so we're at number 1. So we're going to bend this up as high as you can, bend the ankle up, or what we call dorsiflexion. Next we're going to push down, or plantar flex. This will actually stretch out this front part of the ankle. This will contract it, and if you look closely at my shin, you can see the muscles contracted right now. And now this bulge has actually gone. Okay, bulge right here, bulge now gone. Okay. Active stretching of the ankle is really beneficial in regards to getting the movement out of the muscle and the joint. And it doesn't press firmly past end field, what we call it. It's a very safe way to do things, because if you do passive stretching, or static stretching we call it, and you really force and jam your way through these things, a lot of times it can create some damage to the muscles, tendons, and ligaments and joints in the area. So this is a really quick and easy way to get some mobilization done. Now we're on to number 2. Number 2, we're going to add a little bit of resistance, and for that we're going to use a rope. You can use a belt, a band. I actually have some bands that you can actually get if you look onto our resource page at p2sportscare.com/resources. So this rope right here basically is providing some resistance, and my hands are providing the rest of the resistance. So now from here, all we're going to do is press. So we're using the calf right here. We're going to let the foot win, and in this direction we're going to keep pulling. We're still resisting, and we're going to let the rope win. Okay? We're going through those 2 same ranges of motion, plantar flexion and dorsiflexion, as what we did in the last exercise. Okay? Shin splints, although they are a pathology of the front side of the calf, or the shin, or the leg, actually technically, a lot of the musculature on the actual leg is in the backside, or the calf region. And I venture to say there's about, 80 to 90% of the musculature of the leg is actually on the backside. And there's there's a lot of reason to rehab this area if you're trying to get rid of these 2. We won't go into it in this video because it is a long-winded explanation, but for the most part, you're just going to have to believe me on this. So all these exercises are a really good start to a good rehab program later. Okay, I like to do this about 10 times or so. Make sure you go really slow. You notice I'm really putting some resistance on this, because your calf and ankle is a really strong joint, and it'll overpower your upper body any day. Number 3, we're going to go into a half-loaded position. So now we're going to go into a kneeling position right here. And I'm just going to cut my head off because it's not really important for this one. Point the toes down. Okay? You want to make sure that you're not turned in. You want to make sure that it's actually down. And now you're going to set the hips back. Slowly. And you're going to target to get your heels and buttocks together. And you can sink a little bit lower than I am right now. You notice that I still have a lot of bend in my ankle too. This is going to be normal for a lot of people. Unless you're a dancer, you're not going to have a really good line right here. And you're going to notice that when you get down here, if you actually turn the foot this way or this way, it's going to change what type of feeling you're going to have. And based upon what you feel, if you feel this way is better for you with flaring the heel out, then go ahead and do so. And that's totally okay. Every injury is very individualized. Okay? I'd hold this for just about 2, 3, 4 seconds and then come up and give yourself a break out of it. It's really actually common for people to have bottom of foot cramps with this. So really be careful on not getting a cramp because it can put you down for a couple minutes. That's number 3. Now for number 4, number 5, we're actually going to use a foam roller. And if you're wondering where to get a foam roller, which kind to get, I do have some suggestions on my reference page again, p2sportscare.com/references. Just made it easy for you guys to go through there and click. This is called a rumble roller. This is the kind I use in the office a lot, but there is black ones, there's PVC pipe, there are white ones. They're all different densities mainly. Some people are able to tolerate different ones. I can pretty much only tolerate this one. So now we're going to place this basically on the fleshy part of the shin here. Put a little pressure on it. Hands right here. And we're basically just going to roll it back and forth. And you're going to notice as you do this that it's really, really tender, which is okay unless you're on blood thinners. So again, you need to check with your medical doctor or your sports care provider to make sure these are all good for you to do. And notice that my back is actually flat in the lumbar spine. I'm not arching excessively either. Although we're doing rehab for the ankle and shin, it's important not to injure other things because that actually happens a lot of times in rehab. Okay, so I'm going up and down into the fleshy part. I'm usually not going past here on the ankle. And the reason is because it becomes more tendinous, and it's easier to irritate the tendons than it is the musculature right around in here. Okay? I'd spend about a minute or so doing this, and then we're going to flip to number 4, which is going to be foam rolling the calf. Now, foam rolling the calf, you'll probably find that sometimes you cannot get enough pressure on it this way, which if you can't, use something elevated such as a book, a little stepping stool. That'll actually increase the amount of pressure you have. And a disclaimer on this is that if you have not been checked for a deep vein thrombosis, again, deep vein thrombosis or DVT, or you've been flying on airplanes, or you had past trauma, and this feels like it's swollen and red and so on, you need to be, because this one, actually, there's a reason why I don't treat anybody who flies into races, running races in the calf, is because they possibly have a blood clot which can dislodge them and basically kill them. And if you've not been checked for this, don't do it. But here's how we do it in the office. So put pressure on here. We're basically just going to put the hands back here for leverage and roll back and forth. You can swivel the leg slightly. So notice that I'm toes out right now. Now I'm toes up. And now I'm toes inward. You're going to notice that each position is a little bit different sensation. But again, alluding back to a longer conversation, the calf is really, really important when it comes to shin splints, as is proper training programs if you're running, proper nutrition, core exercise, hip stabilization, and movement patterns, as well as gait training. So there's a lot of components to it. Okay, spend about a minute here. And now we're on to number 6. Number 6, we're basically just going to go into the alphabet. So this is another way to do active range of motion of the ankle. I'm going to slide out a screen here and just make it so you can see my ankle. So I would suggest you get trunk stabilization here. I'm going to go on my back to make sure that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So exhale really forcefully. Notice my rib cage depresses. Hold your hands on the side here. Press into them with your abdominal muscle group. It should slide to the side rather than up. Okay? Take two deep breaths. And notice my rib cage didn't elevate during this. Okay? This is a correction of proper breathing patterns. So be able to do this. And now we're just going to take the ankle, and we'll zoom in on the ankle, and we're going to create letters, okay? We're going to create the alphabet just like I said. So there's an A, a B, a C, and you get the point. So this is basically you're using other parts of your ankle or calf or leg to move your ankle as well. So it's important to realize with shin splints that it's not just the shin that's an issue, it's the rest of the leg, it is the thigh, it's the hip, it's the trunk, and a lot of ways it's pretty much how you move. So I hope this was helpful to you guys, and if you have more questions for me, feel free to go on to p2sportscare.com. You can get your question answered on there there's a voicemail button actually that we have a podcast for. So it's the Performance Place Sports Care podcast, which I do feature myself on, as well as I have some guests. And also too, if you have any questions for a video answer, I'll do a video on it. I don't want to say I'm running out of things I can do videos on, but I want to know what you want to know about. So like this video, share, subscribe, please. It really helps me jump to the top of YouTube. So check it out, and that's about it. Talk to you guys soon.